Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dul dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche. Pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4, TV, fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. mun ngeen koo yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indil gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
It's a warm welcome to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Mamadou Bailabari. In the headlines tonight, Sheikh Sidi Abayo calls for cabinet reshuffle. 4 foreign nationals undergo trial for stealing diamonds. Significant drug seizures recorded in June. Press release, Health Ministry warns of more COVID-19 transmissions. Peace ambassadors conclude voter registration observatory exercise. Sports Ministry gives 600,000 to 4 Gambian Olympians. On the international scene, Germany, Belgium floats, tolls exceeds 100 with hundreds missing. Biden, Merkel, united against Russia, disagreements remain. South Africa deploys more than 20,000 troops as death toll tops 100. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Former Jammeh critic, now turned staunch supporter of President Adama Barrow, has called on the Gambian leader to shake off his cabinet to inject in people he called competent Gambians. Modu Elbaji has more.
Sheikh Sidi Abayo is the CEO and founder of We Are Barrow movement, but he is not apparently satisfied with the performance of Barrow's cabinet. Bayo is convinced that there is urgency for the president to start a house cleaning exercise in view of the upcoming election. The activist said he had made a vow to speak truth to the president and that truth be told. Mr. Barrow should reshuffle the cabinet and infuse in ministers who would be up to the task.
Even being on his side, I strongly believe that the President of the Republic has a moral duty to properly organize the next presidential election with the best team possible. And I strongly believe that we can do better than the current team. This is why I believe that it becomes necessary for him to appoint, as soon as possible, a new cabinet capable, among other things, of defending the balance sheet of the incumbent president, capable of giving him an international dimension that he deserves after a significant victory in the ballot box against one of the most repressive regimes in the continent, Yahya Jammeh.
On the Scorpions' snubbing of the 11 million that President Barrow intended to offer them, As a thank you gift for their AFCON qualification, Bayo proceeded that he was dismayed at the national football body. He explained that the players deserve more and better.
Unhappy, the players have boycotted an audience with the president. We believe that these compatriots deserve a better treatment. And despite the efforts of the government, we are urging to do more for an honorary participation of our football team in the African Cup of Nations in Cameroon in 2021.
Bayo also used the news conference to extend sympathy to the bereaved families of the last week windstorm. The CEO of We Are Barrow movement also called for a robust climate action.
We wish a swift recovery to the injured and pray for the victims. We would like to commend the promptness of the government through the NDMA, the National Disaster Management Agency, to assist the victims, and we express our full solidarity to them. We also commend the government for deploying the army to tackle the level of insecurity that has been noted across the country last weeks and last months.
Sir Sidia Bayo pronounced his allegiance to President Adama Barrow nearly 2 months ago. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The trial of 3 Malians and 1 Senegalese over allegations of stealing diamonds, gold, stones, silver and other items valued at almost 8 million continued on Thursday at the Kanifing Magistrates Court. Binta Koli was following the proceedings and she filed in this report.
The quartet has been criminally tried for allegedly breaking into the Fajara office of a certain Kutubo Jahali Toure in May of last year. Chernongom, Alassane Kurubali, Aliu Tangara and Yankuba Tangara on Thursday appeared in court, handcuffed as their case resumed for the cross-examination of the prosecution witness. They are standing trial for allegedly stealing diamonds valued at little over $2 million. Big brown diamonds valued at $1,122,000. Small white diamond valued at $918,000. Gold stones valued at $62,496.4. And 175 grams of gold stone valued at $62,496.4. The 4 foreign nationals also stand accused of stealing from Kutubo Jahali Toure's office in Fajara a Rolex gold watch valued at $510,000, gold watch valued at $1,530,000, gold powder valued at $62,496.4, and 6 sets of gold chains with each weighing 40 grams valued at $681,768. The quartet is also being tried on suspicion of stealing 2 pistols from Toure's office after a break-in. The 3 Malians and the Senegalese nationals are also facing criminal charges for allegedly stealing from Toure $361,886 worth of silver, $200,000, $2,000, 800 euros, 470 pounds, and also 490,000 CFA. On resumption of their trial on Thursday, the defense attorney Idrissa Mansa Jang Sissoho, during the cross-examination of the prosecution witness, argued that the witness, police officer Sadio Cisse, and complainant Kutubo Jahali Toure have wrongly accused the 4 men. The defense lawyer also argued that there was no evidence that Kutubo Jahali Toure could possess all what he claimed to have been stolen from him. But prosecution witness Sadio Cisse counter-argued that he has never crossed paths with Toure until a complaint about the alleged burglary was lodged. I did not even have his number, Officer Cisse replied. Counsel Sissoho put it to the witness that on the day of the alleged burglary, 2 of the accused persons were in Senegal, but the witness said he could not ascertain that. Officer Sadio Cisse, however, corroborated the claim that gold was indeed stolen from Kutubo Jahali, saying part of the money recovered from the accused persons upon their arrest were proceeds of the stolen gold sold in Senegal by one of the accused persons. The case resumes on July 22nd for the continuation of the cross-examination. For Star TV News, I am Binta Kuli.
The Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, in collaboration with sister security agencies, have made significant drug seizures in June. This was revealed to Star TV on Friday by the Drugs Demand Reduction Officer, at the country's anti-narcotics agency, Lamin K. Jobate.
Thank you very much for that. Last month, during our operations and operations of our sister services, like Operation Zero Crime, we were able to make significant seizures of different types of drugs like cannabis, hashish, and cocaine. For cannabis, we seized over 174 kilograms of cannabis sativa countrywide, and over 88 grams of hashish countrywide, and over 4 grams of cocaine also countrywide during the month of June. And this involved 49 cases involving 52 people, 50 are Gambians and 2 are non-Gambians. So looking at the cases, because for cannabis we have trafficking and possession cases. We normally charge people for trafficking or for possession depending on the quantity of cannabis that is arrested with you. Now, with regards to cannabis, we have 12 trafficking cases, we have 31 possession cases. Hashish, we have 2 trafficking cases, and we have 3 possession cases. Cocaine, we have 1 trafficking case. For cocaine, it does not have a possession case. It's only trafficking, whatever quantity. So the total number of trafficking cases is 15, and the total number of possession cases is 34. So regionally, if you check them, like we have Banjul, KM, West Coast, Lower River, Central River, North Bank, and URR. For cannabis, we have 19 from KM, 15 from West Coast region, 1 from LRR, 4 from CRR, 1 from North Bank, and 3 from URR. Hashish, we only have from KM and West Coast, 2 from KM and 3 from West Coast region. Cocaine, we only have 1 case, that is from West Coast region. So the total number of cases from KM is 21, from West Coast is 19, Lower River is 1, CRR is 4, North Bank is 3, and North Bank is 1 and URR is 3. So for cannabis, for KM, we seized 16 kilogram, 574 grams, 100 milligrams. For hashish, in KM, we have 44 grams, 900 milligrams. For West Coast region, we arrested 145 kilogram, 520 grams. And for hashish, 43 gram, 600 milligram. And for cocaine, 4 gram, 500 milligram. LRR, we arrested, we seized 7 kilogram, 600 milligram. CRR, 2 kilogram, 386 gram. URR, 2 kilogram, 503 gram. NBR, 50 gram. So the total number of arrests for cannabis is 174 kilogram, 606 grams, 100 milligrams. For hashish, 88 gram, 500 milligrams, and for cocaine, 4 gram, 500 milligram. We have 2 foreigners, 2 Senegalese, and 50 Gambians in the month of June only.
And now to a press release, the Ministry of Health has warned that if the country trend of COVID-19 transmissions continues unabated, the country's response capacity will likely be challenged. The Health Ministry said on Thursday that the Gambia is currently experiencing a rapid increase in the number of people testing positive for COVID-19. The data from this week's situational report showed an overall 13% new cases increase as compared to the week before it. According to the Health Ministry, there is currently a significant increase in admissions. This trajectory is worrisome, and should it continue its course, the country's response capacity will likely be challenged, which could lead to more transmissions and severe cases, the ministry warned. It urged the larger public to take COVID-19 prevention and control measures seriously. And the release ends. Peace Ambassadors the Gambia on Thursday made public findings and recommendations on its recently concluded voter registration observatory exercise. Awasane has more details in this report.
The Peace Ambassadors deployed 59 trained persons across the 7 administrative regions and 53 constituencies on May 29 to observe the just concluded general voter registration exercise. After the successful completion of the mission, the organization on Thursday held a press conference at its office in Carnifing to give a report on the third phase of the registration exercise. PAG will also release a comprehensive report covering all the 3 phases of the observation. The President, Babukar Sambu, said the process was both smooth and peaceful. He highlighted some of the incidents reported by their observers.
However, there were some incidences reported because our observers were sending 2 types of reports. That is the findings of the whole registration process, which were submitted in a form of a checklist indicating the opening of stations because a time has been allocated for that, and closing. whether IEC officials were actually observing that, whether they were also observing the COVID-19 protocols were also observed. And it has been noticed in the observation from the first to the third phase that there has been a decline in the enforcement of COVID-19 rules from the first phase of the observation to the final phase. In fact, it was much better in terms of enforcement during the first phase, but in the second and the third phase of it, there was a lot of decline in enforcing COVID-19 measures.
PAG president added that adherence to COVID-19 preventive and control measures was more noticeable in the first phase of the registration than the second and third. He said their findings also showed that registration staff has been closing earlier than stipulated thanks to hitches with equipment. These, he added, have though reduced significantly as the exercise progressed.
Out of 158 reports, only 2 instances where machines has major problems and that have to obstruct the registration process. But in the final phase, again, we have around up to 20 of those issues. Even though it's not significant, but a little increase has happened there, where some machines has issues that they have to deal with. So these are some of the findings that we have realized. We have sent recommendations to IEC that they need to make sure that all the time the rules set are always followed. And that is one of them, including their staff asking people whether they were registered elsewhere before coming to those particular registration centers, which in most places they don't do. As far as you present.
PAG president expressed determination that the organization will go at full stretch to ensure free and fair elections. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasane.
To sports now, the Sports Ministry has on Friday awarded $600,000 to 4 Gambian Olympians as they set to raise the country's flag in Tokyo later this month. Jacqueline Colley explains.
Gina Bass, Ibrahima Sori-Buaro, Ibrahima Kamara and Alex Fainjai would be hoping for medals in the athletics, judo and swimming as they represent the Gambia in the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games. This marks the Gambia's 10th consecutive Olympic appearance after the country's debut in the 1984 Summer Olympics. The Minister of Sports, Bakary Badji, pointed out that the distribution of the money would be performance-based, explaining that Gina and Alex would receive $200,000, while Ibrahima and Bauro would each receive $75,000.
Government have also decided to provide an extra amount of money to you people, you and the other 3, as a reward kind of for reaching this far. So your expenses, like I said, is aside. Now, so we discussed internally, and of course there are differences in terms of what people get based on what they have also done in the past. And maybe I'll be allowed to say some few things, but we know it's 3. It's Ibrahima Sori, Sima, and Alex Fainjai, and Gina Bass. These are the 4 people. The categories also matter, but the total amount is $600,000 that government is.
The minister revealed that the money was a token of appreciation and has already been transferred to the accounts of the beneficiaries. He expressed his ministry's resolve to provide more opportunities for athletes.
But on the side of the Gambia as a country, through the GNOC, everything has been done to ensure that opportunities are given to our athletes to go there. But again, the Olympics is a game where you need to have a particular timing in order for you to be able to go. And if you don't make it, you certainly cannot be able to go, even if you are good as per the standards of the Gambia. And so those who have not been able to make it, like the case of the volleyball, we know that they have done their best. They came out 3rd, and it's only 1 team that is supposed to qualify to go. And 3rd position would mean that you will have to drop and probably prepare better for another time. But we have enough time now to prepare those that were not able to make it to the Tokyo to get them ready for the next one.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Sports has handed over the Gambia flag to Ibrahima Sori-Buaro on behalf of his teammates ahead of their Sunday's journey to Tokyo. The Gambia's Chief of Mission said this year's game preparation was the hardest in the country's history as it coincided with the coronavirus pandemic.
The game preparations were the hardest we've had in Olympic history. As we know, since the COVID came in, everything changed. But the IOC, and together with Tokyo, ensured that we deliver to the athletes, because in the Ministry of Sports, likewise the IOC, the athletes are the most important. Those are the ones we work for. So it went as far as now they've decided not to have any spectators. My job as chef de mission, leading Team Gambia, I just wanted to make a comment that as far as the athletes have done all they could to qualify, we will ensure that we take them to Tokyo safely, let them perform as best as they can in a safe environment, and bring them back home safely.
The Olympic Games were scheduled for August 2020, but were postponed to July this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Jacqueline Colley reporting for Star TV News.
And from that Jacqueline Colley story, we will take our first commercial break. When we come back, we look at news outside the Gambia.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.global.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dut dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche. Pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4, TV, fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. Mun ngeen ko yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. Pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indil gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
Welcome back. You're watching Star TV News and now news beyond our borders. More than 60 people have died and dozens are missing in Western Europe as severe flooding devastates towns and villages. Most of those killed were in Germany, which is experiencing its worst weather disaster in decades. Al Jazeera's Step Vassen reports.
This is what residents in storm-battered parts of Germany woke up to, as record rainfall caused major rivers to burst their banks. A view from the air showing the full extent of the devastation. In the states of Rhineland-Palatinate and North Rhine-Westphalia,
oh my God!
Cars were tossed around like toys in the rising waters.
Oh no!
Homes and businesses washed away. As the flooding in some areas recedes, the death toll rises, with several people still missing. Rescue efforts are on the way to bring the stranded to safety. In villages cut off by floodwater and landslides, helicopters pluck people from their rooftops.
What you see here now is worse than after a bombing raid, and this is guaranteed to take 10 years. The people are all broke, the businesses have been hurt, so it's just horrible now.
On a visit to the United States, the German Chancellor promised to do everything possible to help.
These are terrible days for people in flooded areas. My thoughts are with you, and you can trust that all forces of our government, federal, regional and community, will do everything in difficult conditions to save lives, alleviate dangers and relieve distress.
Over the border in neighbouring Belgium, floodwaters ripped through villages, submerging homes.
Around midnight, I heard a scary noise. I looked through the window and I saw that there was a torrent of water, at least 50 to 60 centimeters deep.
And in the Netherlands, several care homes were evacuated, with some local residents driven by tractor to safety. People here have really been taken by surprise. They've never seen so much water inundating their cities and driving them away from their homes. Extreme wet weather has been paralyzing large parts of this border region here between Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands. More torrential rain is forecast, and with it, fears of further devastation. It's been called a once-in-a-generation flood, and it isn't over yet. Stepfasen, Al Jazeera.
US President Joe Biden has met the ongoing German Chancellor at the White House. It is a farewell visit for Angela Merkel, whose term has spanned 4 American presidencies. Al Jazeera's White House correspondent Kim Bailey reports.
Set to leave office in September, U.S. Chancellor Angela Merkel traveled to Washington to shore up the U.S.-German partnership and chart a course for future relations.
I am very much looking forward to deepening the relations yet again through our talks, and I think we will be able to elaborate more on that as we go on.
Merkel did little to hide her opinions of Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump. Trump accused Germany of having open borders, unfair trade practices, and insufficient NATO defense spending. So when Biden took office, he immediately resolved some trade differences. The U.S. sees Germany as an ally for combating global problems like climate change and emerging from the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden was pressed on when he'd lift the ban on travelers to the United States from the EU's Schengen region.
It's in process now, and I'll be able to answer that question to you within the next several days, what is likely to happen.
Biden and Merkel did share concern about China's tightening grip on Hong Kong. Biden told reporters his administration will issue an advisory cautioning U.S. companies about the risks of doing business on the island.
The situation in Hong Kong is deteriorating, and the Chinese government is not keeping its commitment that it made how it would deal with Hong Kong.
But where Germany and the U.S. differ is over Nord Stream 2. The gas pipeline runs from Russia, a U.S. adversary, to Germany. Biden is concerned the pipeline gives Russia an energy foothold into Europe and could be used as a destabilizing tool against Ukraine. Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014 and maintains a heavy military presence along its borders.
While I reiterated my concerns about Nord Stream 2, Chancellor Merkel and I are absolutely united in our conviction that Russia must not be allowed to use energy as a weapon to coerce or threaten its neighbors.
We have different views on what this project entails, but I want to make it very clear. Our understanding was and remains that Ukraine remains a transit country for natural gas, that Ukraine has a right like any country to territorial sovereignty.
The Nord Stream 2 pipeline is almost complete. That's why the White House says it's too late to take punitive action in the form of sanctions against Germany. President Biden hopes waiving sanctions will allow for future diplomatic conversations with Germany about potential negative impacts the pipeline could create. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, the White House.
South Africa is mobilizing thousands of soldiers to stop more than a week of riots and looting. At least 117 people have died in the unrest, which was triggered by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma last week. Al Jazeera's Haru Mutasa reports from Johannesburg, South Africa.
After days of violence and looting, things are now relatively calm in Johannesburg. Shopkeepers and volunteers from the community sift through what's left. The riots initially started when former President Jacob Zuma was jailed last week after he failed to appear at a corruption inquiry. Grievances after Zuma's jailing turned into anger and frustration about inequality and poverty in South Africa.
This shop here, Freedom, this is a shop, most of the people they depend on this shop because it's much cheaper than other supermarkets. So now when it's like this, people are going to suffer. Yeah. I'm not condoning what they're doing. It's mayhem. I'm not okay with it.
It's the worst unrest South Africa has seen in years.
We've destroyed our place. Where are we going to get jobs, food, the things that we are crying about that we don't have? We are destroying the ones that we still have. The little bit that we have, we destroyed it. For what?
Starting over for many is not going to be easy.
Nearly everything in the shop was looted except for a few bottles of water. Business owners, some with no insurance, don't know if they're ever going to recover. They've had to lay off staff in a country with an already high unemployment rate.
There was sporadic looting on Thursday in parts of the port city of Durban, where fears of food and fuel shortages have seen people waiting in long lines. Soldiers are being deployed to hotspots to help the police maintain order. But even if things get back to normal, the economic damage done will likely be felt long into the future. Harun Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
And before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Sheikh Sidiya Bayo calls for cabinet reshuffle. 4 foreign nationals undergo trial for stealing diamonds. Significant drug seizures recorded in June. Press release, Health Ministry warns of more COVID-19 transmissions. Peace ambassadors conclude voter registration observatory exercise. Sports Ministry gives 600,000 to 4 Gambian Olympians. On the international scene, Germany, Belgium floats, tolls exceeds 100 with hundreds missing. Biden, Merkel, united against Russia, disagreements remain. South Africa deploys more than 20,000 troops as death toll tops 100. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Do join us for more news on Monday. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Until then, have a very good night.